So does it seem like you just keep picking the wrong person? Like every single damn time you find someone you really like, it just turns out they're no
good. Again, it's because you have walls up. It's because you haven't healed. And if you have not healed, then guess what? Real love can't come your way.
We will find ourselves in more toxic situations, entertaining people and things that don't belong in our life. Dating can become a frustrating process for a lot of people. Let's get real simple with this first off. I think everyone on the face of this earth has at one point been attracted to someone that was not good for them or was not truly best for them. Because let's face it, we're going to meet tons of people in this lifetime, but they're not all for us, all right? The reality is that the majority of people we meet are quote unquote wrong for us. Now, there's a difference between being attracted to people who are not truly best for us or we're not a good fit with, and constantly being attracted to damaged, toxic, broken people. And I'll explain a little bit more of that as we go along. But the point is, simply being attracted to someone that it's not going to work out with is normal. So the first thing I need you to understand is stop beating yourself up. It's understandable. It happens to everyone. We all see different things that we like. It might be physical attraction. It might be we admire certain things about them. Hell, even when we're not focusing on the exterior or their resume, so to speak. You have some situations where people truly fell for that person's spirit, their energy, their personality, and they were still wrong for you. And that makes it real frustrating because you're like, dang, I thought maybe if I did it or if I looked past the surface, that might serve me well. No, that doesn't necessarily fix anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. We need to be focused on what is going on under the hood, so to speak. But that isn't the cure-all to this. Because again, the reality is that you're going to meet tons of people in your life and you're going to be attracted to them. Now, granted, I will say that if you're noticing a pattern of always being attracted to individuals who not only are not good for you, but they're just flat out bad for you, all right? Now we can start examining things on a deeper level. So for example, one of the reasons why you might be continuously attracted to the wrong person is because you are too focused on looks. Now, do not get me wrong. I believe attraction matters. I believe trying to have a romantic relationship without physical attraction is asking for trouble, all right? However, we don't want to make looks our relationship god, so to speak. We don't want to put it on such a high of a pedestal to where we will now become blind to the other issues that they are presenting. That we will become blind to the red flags because we're so caught up in how good they look. So we have to have this balance of, yes, let there be attraction. I am not going to encourage or push you to date people that you are not attracted to, all right? But I'm going to encourage you to not get caught up with people simply because you're attracted to them. You've got to still be aware of the person that you're dealing with. And when you see the issues, you know what I say, when you see the red flags, you address them. If they can't be corrected, you keep it moving. Another general reason why you may be continuously picking the wrong person is because of you're being too focused on the resume. So let's go past looks right now. The resume is, oh man, they have no kids. If that's your thing, I'm just giving an example. They have no kids. They look good. They make this kind of money. They graduated from this college, whatever the case may be. They have a resume that it shows them in a great light. And you get caught up in the resume. You get all hype about what you're seeing on the surface. But again, you've done it to the point where you're ignoring or you're becoming blind to the character of the person. All right. And so you've got to be mindful of, again, having enough awareness that the resume does not fool you. The resume may open the door. The resume may allow you to say, you know what? There's potential here, or, you know, we have a solid prospect in front of us. But you do not allow that to blind you to the point where now you will try to make it happen with this person because you want all these qualities or these things on their resume that they're portraying. That is where we get into trouble. So you've got to be mindful of that and take a step back, especially if that has been a reoccurring pattern for you. Because so many people are choosing based off of the resume, and they're not being more aware of the character. They're not being more aware of the spirit, the connection that needs to be there, the deeper things that need to be at play, because you could get everything you want. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say that full statement. I'm going to keep that statement for the very end. All right. So let's just move along. So again, you got to look past the resume. Now, here's another reason why you might keep continuously being attracted to the wrong person. Because you love to date for potential. Yeah, I said it. You have this mentality that I'm going to look for that diamond in the rough that I can mold or build up, or they just need a little fire, a little help, a little push, and I'm going to get them there. And there's really other reasons why you keep dating for potential. But the point is, so many relationships like this, where you're focused on the potential of the person, ends up being a very damaging, destructive, toxic relationship. And a lot of times it's that seeing their potential, and I'm not saying all the time. There are some situations that have fortunately worked out, but for a lot of people, it doesn't, because you have to understand the deeper reasons why you are doing it. And so what I feel the need to mention right now is that a lot of times this dating potential, or this dating someone that you know isn't where they need to be yet to have a successful relationship with them, or at least you're not aware of that completely, sets it up for the whole codependent narcissistic dynamic. All right. A lot of times you're getting with this person who essentially needs you. All right. And the reality is that you do this because it provides you with a level of security. It makes you feel more valued in the relationship. It makes you feel like they've got to be happy they got someone like you, so they're going to be more likely to be loyal, more likely to pour into your needs. You feel safer there emotionally. And this can happen with men and women, okay? Bottom line. But then because it's a dynamic where you got to give, and initially you're okay because, again, you view it as, I just need to help them out. They got potential, blah, blah, blah. It ends up being a situation where they keep taking and taking and taking. And now you're drained. And now your eyes open. You're like, oh my God, they're a narcissist. But oh my gosh, you're codependent. Oh my gosh, you got into this because you thought it was going to be safer. Oh my gosh, you got into this because you haven't healed. Which brings me to another point. The reason why you keep being attracted to the wrong person is because there are parts of you that you have not healed that are drawn to these types of individuals. If you have grown up in dysfunction, you will be drawn to dysfunction if you have not healed and resolved that. All right. If there's issues with your father, you might be trying to replace him. Same thing with men who did not have their mothers or issues with their mothers. There's all kinds of trauma-related issues that now creates trauma bonds in relationships, that now creates dynamics where you will allow yourself to deal with something you know isn't best for you, but you have normalized this toxic behavior for various reasons. You have developed an unhealthy attachment to these individuals because, again, you have not healed. So the source of any kind of relationship where you entertain toxic behavior, where you entertain damaging, dysfunctional behavior is a lack of healing. I have never in my time doing this, all my years being a coach and speaking about relationships and writing books, I have never met someone who found themselves in this relationship who did not have something very specific they needed to heal from, if not multiple things. And yes, a lot of times it stems from childhood. And that childhood trauma continues on into their adult life, into their relationships, and now creates this dynamic where you keep being drawn or attracted to the wrong people. And the other reason I kind of mentioned it earlier is because the dysfunctional toxic person feels safer emotionally than the healthy one. Because with the toxic individual, you actually feel more at home. You also feel like, again, it's safer emotionally because you don't truly feel vulnerable with this individual. They're showing you all their negative traits out front. You know what you're getting yourself into. And if your mindset is, well, the world is just one big negative place, this place filled with men and women who want to hurt me, well, it's easier to be with the person who you already know what their issues are. But when you meet that healthy, loving person who wants to give you the world, you're like, what's the deal here? What's really going on? You can't trust it. You can't believe it. You question everything about it. You will self-sabotage before you allow yourself to be with that person. It does not feel safe being with them emotionally because now you feel vulnerable. And now you will be expected to step up to the plate in a way that requires more emotional maturity, in a way that requires you to heal, in a way that requires you to be vulnerable. And if you're not ready to face the issues that have created this fear of vulnerability in you, you're not going to be able to be with this person. So you will run from the right one and you will run to the wrong one. And this contributes to this ongoing cycle of why you are continuously attracted to the wrong person. But remember I said earlier, I had a statement, I had to cut it halfway through. The other reason why you're constantly attracted to the wrong person is because you're focused on what you want and not what you need. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want, but you've got to not allow that to blind you from what is actually necessary and needed in your life. And there are many people out there who got exactly what they wanted and still weren't happy. They got exactly what they wanted and were still miserable in that relationship. And it still failed them because what you want is not what you need. And in order for you to understand what you need time alone. You need time to get to know yourself. You need time to love yourself. You need to heal because that lack of healing is blinding you from what's necessary in your life. Now, I got to also add in there, connect with God. Your relationship with God will help you in fortifying the foundation of what is needed and necessary in your life. Now, again, it doesn't mean you're going to end up with some person that doesn't have anything you wanted and it's like, I just got to deal with this because it's what someone claimed you needed. Nah, I don't want this to sound like discouraging in that way. I want you to know that what you need is going to be what makes you happy. It's going to be what makes you feel like you're at peace and you're in the right relationship. What you need is going to fulfill you. What you need is going to give you a life of greater purpose and joy. So trust and believe what you need is best. And God knows what you need, but you know what you want. And we've got to make sure we're not letting that get in the way. Because it is definitely another contributing factor to why you are continuously attracted to the wrong person. But again, like I said in the beginning, we have to understand we are going to meet people who we are attracted to who are wrong for us for various reasons. That is life. So the key here, the key to all of this is not that you are attracted to the wrong person, but do you entertain them? And if you are always entertaining the wrong person, then yes, we have a huge, huge problem. Don't get me wrong. The attraction part, it still is a problem that needs to be addressed. But because we're going to have that dynamic to some degree in everyone's life, the bigger part is the entertaining. And you got to learn to stop entertaining the wrong people. Stop allowing the wrong individuals to linger in your life. Stop trying to make a relationship work that never belonged in your life to begin with. Stop trying to be with this person that you know you're not even into them like that. You have an unhealthy connection or attachment with this individual. Not connection, that was a slip up. You have an unhealthy attachment with that individual. And you have to recognize these things. And when you can learn to stop entertaining the wrong people, now you make room to receive the right one. Now you can be available for that great relationship. Now you can make more time for yourself. Now you can make more time for healing. Now you can make more time for finding your purpose and walking in it. Stop entertaining the wrong people. And when you do that, you will set yourself up for greater success. Let's move along to the 5 tips you're not ready for true love. So tip number 1, you don't believe true love exists. Listen,
The reality is that if you don't believe it, you can't receive it. So your perception and your negative thoughts of love are creating a negative environment in your life. They're creating a negative energy that you're now putting out into the universe, or you're sending that signal to even God, and you're saying, well, I don't believe in this thing. This isn't for me. It doesn't exist. So why is it going to come your way? And even if it came your way, you won't believe it when it's staring you in the face. You're going to question everything about it, because to you, real love, true love does not exist. So you could have found love, and yet you're like, nah, this can't be it. Nah, this is too good to be true. You're going to convince yourselves of all the reasons why this can't be what it actually is. So you have to believe in order to receive. Tip number 2, that you are not ready for true love, is that you're too controlling. So here's the thing. When we become very controlling in our lives, it is a symptom of fear and hurt from the past. The only reason why you insist on having your hands on everything is because you trust nothing. You trust no one to deal with it for you. You don't trust that you can be vulnerable and open and allow these things to come into your life. You don't trust that life itself can flow in a way that you're going to be happy and receive amazing things from it. So you try to control every aspect of your life, and you try to control your relationships. You try to control the people you're in relationships with. And you may think it's all good, but again, it's because you have walls up. It's because you haven't healed. And if you have not healed, then guess what? Real love can't come your way. Or when it does, you will push it away. You will run from it. So be honest with yourself. If you're a very controlling person, if you insist on having so much control, then you are setting yourself up for failure. And you have to become more vulnerable if you want true love to come your way. So tip number 3, why you're not ready for true love, is you're not willing to put in the work. Plain and simple. Listen, if we want an amazing relationship, if we want an amazing love, there is work that we need to do. This idea that we're just entitled to this amazing romantic relationship, and I stress the word romantic because yes, we all deserve to be loved, but love can come from kids, from co-workers, from anyone. And I would argue that every last one of you are loved by someone. And if you don't know that person in your life, I love you, God loves you, so someone does love you. But what you desire is a romantic love, a romantic relationship, and that has some conditions that come with it. That comes with work. That comes with really looking within yourself and making sure that you're exuding the quality that that partner that you want in your life will want in you. That's making sure that you have set the table for that partner to come into your life and for things to be able to flow together and for there to be proper harmony in that relationship. There's a lot of things that we have to look at and evaluate to make sure it's what it needs to be if we want love. So if you're unwilling to do that, if you're unwilling to take constructive criticism, if you're unwilling to make adjustments in your life, then you're not ready. You're not. Because if you want something bad enough, you got to be willing to work for it. And yes, that includes relationships. So the love may come easy. Like you might come across someone who loves you, who desires to be with you in a relationship, but the ability to have a relationship with you, a healthy, successful one, is going to be contingent on the work you and that individual is willing to put into it. So be willing to embrace that and consider, what do I need to do to now receive the love, maintain the love, nurture the love, and take it to the level that it deserves to go to. So again, we have, you got to believe it to receive it. We got, you're too controlling. We got that you're not willing to put in the work. Tip number 4 that you're not ready for true love is you haven't healed from the past. So I kind of mentioned it briefly earlier in one of the other tips, but healing is extremely important. And again, if you know me, if you follow me, then you know I'm all about healing. That is what needs to happen. Without it, you're going to set yourself up for so many problems. So again, that's one of the reasons why I want you to get the book Finding Love After Heartbreak, because it lays out specific steps on how to heal. But understand something. When you haven't healed, you are, by my estimation, 99.9% likely to end up choosing the wrong person to be with. All right? It's not that it's impossible for you to still end up in the right place, but it's extremely unlikely, it's extremely difficult, because as I mentioned earlier before, when you haven't healed, you're not even going to trust that great thing that's staring you in the face. When you haven't healed, you're going to allow your insecurities and other deeper issues to come to the surface and derail that relationship. You're going to have a very hard time being vulnerable, and without vulnerability, you cannot experience true love. You can't experience that real love that you desire. So you've got to be very mindful of that. And again, be honest with yourself about, what am I still holding on to? What are the areas I need to heal in my life? So one quick thing I'm going to tell you about healing that's in the book, Finding Love After Heartbreak, is one of the first steps I give. And I want to give it to you so that you can get the ball rolling in the right direction. When you get a chance, I want you to get a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, I want you to write down, who hurt me? And then ask yourself that question, who hurt me? And now every person who comes to mind, write them on the paper. It doesn't matter if you think it's insignificant. It doesn't matter if you think, well, this happened so long ago. Whatever. If they come to mind when you ask yourself that question, they belong on that paper, and then write 2 sentences of what they did to hurt you. This is a starting point in your healing process. This is going to allow you to start to see, where is the pain coming from? Where is the resentment coming from? Where is the fear coming from? And now we can start to attack each one individually and properly resolve it, because you may have moved past it, but you didn't resolve anything. And it's still there, it's lingering, and it's going to create bigger problems. So a lack of healing is definitely a tip or a sign that you are not ready for true love. So if you really want it, let's get that healing going. Let's make that happen. And the last tip that you're not ready for true love is that you run from the best. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that when you have not healed, when you have not put in the work, when you are that controlling person, all these things we've mentioned already in this video, you will not be able to embrace being with the person who makes you love the hardest, who brings out of you a powerful love, desire, vulnerability that is unlike anyone else. That person is going to be a struggle to be with. So what I see happens, and this can happen with men or with women, but I'm going to use the example with women. I've seen women where they come across that amazing, great man. And when I say amazing, great man, I don't mean your friends think he's great, I think he's great, someone else thinks he's great. No, I'm talking about you. You yourself view him as an amazing, great man. And you start to wonder, well, why is he with me? This is too good to be true. How can I trust this? It starts to make you very uncomfortable. If you're a controlling person, you can't control that kind of guy, all right? You know, if you're a person who doesn't want to put work in, that kind of guy holds you to a higher standard. So these things start to expose the issues that I already mentioned and really make it, or put it at the forefront. And now, if you are not comfortable conquering these things, and if you haven't healed, you are not going to be, then you know what you're going to do? You're going to run. You're either going to run or you're going to self-sabotage the situation. So you are going to struggle with being with the best, but guess what? You will have no problem being with second best or third best or fourth best. So you're going to find that guy or that girl who's good enough to be with, but they don't take you there. They don't really push you to that next level. So it's a lot more comfortable to deal with it than it is to deal with that person who is that amazing man or woman who is the best person for you. And that is a clear-cut sign that you are not ready for true love.
Dating can become a frustrating process for a lot of people. It can get exhausting. A lot of people are spinning their wheels trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And to be honest, even though I acknowledge that there are some good dating coaches and there are some good dating advice being told on YouTube, if we're honest, there are also some bad advice being given. And so I want to give you what I felt is some healthy effective advice. That's the key. Not tips and tricks, not games to play. Healthy advice that will lead to healthier relationships and more successful experiences. All right. So let's start off with number one. Be yourself. Now, I know that sounds super cliche. Everybody says be yourself. You know, you're your only copy. I forgot what the quote says. Anyway, the point is, yes, it may sound cliche, but it's extremely important for you to understand and embrace. And here's the reason why. So many people are dating with their representative, trying to be something they're not in order to catch their desired choice, trying to, again, increase their chances in their eyes of receiving somebody. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some things that we should be improving about ourselves that will make us better candidates, that will increase our chances of getting who we desire or who is best for us, because that should be the real goal. However, you have to locate or understand the difference between enhancing yourself and being something you're not. I do not want you to be something you're not, because now the pitfall is if you show them your representative and they fall in love with that or become attached to that, because in reality it's not really love in those situations, then what happens is when your true self comes out, they don't want it anymore. They run, they start acting funny, they feel like they've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, you know, and now we have battles going on. Now you guys aren't on the same page and everything falls apart. So you would have spent all those months, all that time, maybe even years, trying to get them and keep them, only to lose them because you were never true to who you were. Not to mention that after you get them, you may come to the realization you don't even want them. You might be like, dang, I can't keep up this facade, or who I thought I wanted, that time or that moment has passed, and I realize now they don't fit my life. And so rather than getting stuck, because that's what happens to a lot of people, they get stuck, all right, because they fought so hard to get this, they invested so much into this individual, they become unhealthily attached to that individual. And now walking away becomes very difficult. So to save yourself all the headache, to increase the chances of receiving who's best for you, because in being yourself, being your best self, you will then come across the person who likes that person, who embraces that person, who wants to pour into the real you. And when you find that, now you win. Now you win. So save yourself the struggle, save yourself the headache, be yourself. And if you don't know what being yourself even means right now, well, then you got to find yourself. So that's a little bonus to this number one, is make sure you find yourself. Make sure you know who you are and love who you are. And with that self-love, you will again increase the chances of receiving all that's for you, including an amazing partner, an amazing relationship. The number two tip for dating, all right, is do not waste your time. So one of the reasons why so many people are exhausted with this dating process is because too many individuals are letting situations linger on way longer than they should, all right? Allowing people to remain in their lives that should have been gone a long time ago, and all that's doing is draining them and depleting them, as well as causing more damage to them emotionally and mentally, which now, if you don't heal from, you will carry on to your next situation, and it will set you up to end up with the wrong person. So you've got to be really mindful of not wasting your time and learning how to cut things off very quickly. I always say, get them in, get them out. Evaluate, move on. If they're not for you, they're not for you. If you see red flags, address them. If they're not corrected, keep it moving. But do not try to keep the situation going because you're feeling alone, because you just want to give this a chance. You don't know if you're going to have any better options. Fear of, starting all over and having to meet someone new. So many different possible reasons, but one way or another, none of those reasons are good enough to keep this going when this is not the right fit. All right. And the quicker you can get them out of the way, the quicker you can be available to receive someone who is. And you have to understand that in dating, sometimes it's a numbers game. Sometimes it's about, listen, we have to be able to meet several people before we finally get to the one. But if we allow the wrong people to stick around too long, we throw everything off. So the better you get at cutting people off, and again, not cutting people off like in a nasty, negative, rude way, but simply recognizing, okay, this isn't it. They're not the one, even when they are a great person. Sometimes they can be a great guy or a great woman, but they're not the right person for you. So you got to understand that. Don't try to force the issue. Recognize this is not it. Recognize we just don't have that thing, that it factor there, whatever, all right, or we're not on the same page, or they're not willing to pour into your needs, or vice versa, and get them out the way. Do not waste your time when you are dating. Dating tip number 3, all right, that you need to focus on is focus on the positive, but be prepared for the negative. Here's what I mean. Too many people are going into their dating experiences projecting negativity. They're very guarded. They're waiting for that next pin to drop. They're waiting for that mistake to happen. They're on guard with the red flags. And not that you shouldn't be aware of the red flags, but you're just seeking them out. You're looking for something to be a problem, or you're putting in your head that this is not going to work out before you even gave it a chance to work out. Do not project negative onto your experiences, not to mention that when you do that, you carry negative energy. And a lot of times it's your negativity that's pushing them away. It's your negativity that's setting this whole situation left. You got to realize that you are setting yourself up for failure when you keep thinking so negative and carry all that negative energy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because that's all you're putting out into the world. So you've got to project positivity. You got to come in thinking this could work out. This could be a great experience. Even if they're not the one, I may learn something new. I may enjoy myself in the process, and I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on doing those things because that will then increase your positive energy, increase the chances of a positive outcome, all right, as well as allow you to see more clearly if this is really it or not. It is really hard to properly evaluate and see things for what they are when you're looking through broken glasses. And to carry that negativity, to project that negativity onto the situation, you're essentially looking through broken glasses because you're broken from the inside. And that's not to insult you. That's just a reality of the emotional and mental damage you've gone through in life from previous experiences or childhood, so on and so forth. So you've got to get to a positive, healthier place, and that will allow you to see things much more clearly, all right? But like I said, I want you to project the positive and think positive, but I want you to be prepared for the negative. And what I mean by that is this. We have to understand that, yes, it may not work out. Yes, they may not be the one for us, and that's perfectly fine. If we understand that coming in, rather than just being focused on this has got to work or I don't know what I'm going to do, then we can handle the disappointment when it comes, or it won't even be a huge disappointment. It'll just be a fact of life. Hey, you know what? I met a great person, or I met someone, it didn't work. I'm moving on. It's all good. And that way you don't carry any negativity from that situation onto the next. So it's important that, yes, we have to understand that things won't always go the way that we want them to, all right? And that, yes, people may do some foolish, ridiculous nonsense when we're trying to date them. That may happen, but we don't need to internalize it. We don't need to dwell on it. We just need to accept it for what it is, recognize it not for us, and keep it moving. So project the positive, but yes, be prepared for the negative. Dating tip number 4. And before I give you that tip, let me just tell you, if you want to or you should join my free text community. I left a link below in the description and in the comment section as well. I'm flashing it on the screen right now for you to see. Join the free community. You get inspirational texts and motivation. People are loving it and enjoying it. You'll also get special offers. And again, it's free. So it costs you nothing, and there's plenty of benefits from it. So join the free text community today. But now back to dating tip number 4 from a dating coach. Make sure you have healed. All right. So if you notice, I kind of alluded to it in the other tips. We have to make sure that we are not carrying past baggage and past trauma into new situations. And for a lot of people, there, if not most people, if not damn near all people, their dating struggles stem from a lack of healing. And that lack of healing blinds you from seeing what you need to see. It sets you up to become unhealthily attached to the wrong individuals. It's unhealthily attached to any individual is a problem. All right. But either way, it causes havoc in your life. And again, as I've said many times before, it is more than likely going to set you up to be with the wrong person. So the best thing for you to do for yourself is before you even try to jump back into dating, and if you're in it right now, maybe take a step back and focus on healing first. And understand that healing is not just from past romantic relationships. It's from all the hurt in your life. Mother, father, siblings, whoever hurts you, you've got to heal from it. And when you flush that negative energy out of your system, it will help you find your true self. It will help you love yourself more. It will help you better evaluate people when you meet them. It will help you stay away from toxic relationships. It will help you embrace the love that's truly for you. So be sure to heal. And you know what? I wasn't going to mention it, but I got to. Go get the book, Love After Heartbreak. I'll also put that link in the description. It is the book that will give you the steps to healing. All right. Check it out. Very, very beneficial. So many people are gaining great things from it. All right. So you need to heal if you want to have better dating experiences and ultimately an amazing relationship. So number 5 on the list of dating tips from a dating coach, all right, is do not dwell in disappointment. Now, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but let me shed a little bit more light on this. Again, part of the problem or part of the struggle people face is that they go through a disappointing situation in their dating process and they dwell in that disappointment and they stay in that negative place. All right. And so it's understandable that, the hurt is going to bring you down. And you're feeling some kind of way and you don't feel like putting yourself back out there. But the problem is dwelling there is blocking you from actually experiencing something successful. The reality is that love can come at any time when you least expect it. But if you're busy dwelling in disappointment, holding on to hurt, holding on to your past, you're not going to be available to receive it. Hell, even if you meet that love, because you're still dwelling in the disappointment, you won't be able to embrace that love. You may reject it. There have been plenty of people who came across that person, but they were not emotionally ready to handle it. So you don't want to set yourself up for failure by allowing yourself to dwell in disappointment or to get discouraged. Again, we have to understand that there's going to be wins and losses. There's going to be good experiences and there may be some bad experiences, but it's all part of the process. We got to take what we can learn. We got to enjoy the moments that we can, but we got to keep moving forward. And as long as you keep moving forward, you stay positive, you make sure you healed, you learn how to not waste your time. I'm just running down some of these earlier tips. You will set yourself up for success. So be mindful of that. Do not dwell. Give yourself a short period of grieving, so to speak, if you want. I have a rule of no more than 3 days. All right. I'll go through my process, and I'm saying that's just in general, like not necessarily dating, but anything in life that hurts me, disappoints me, whatever the case may be, the maximum amount of days that I'll let myself grieve, so to speak, is 3 days. And I go through the process of kind of healing and flushing things out within that, so that by day 4, I'm ready to go and get back on track. All right. Now, for some of you, it might be quicker than that, especially depending on how impactful the situation was. But one way or another, do not let the dwelling linger on. You got to get back on the horse and ride and make things happen. So do not dwell in disappointment. The number 6 dating tip for you to be mindful of is self-reflect and keep improving. So again, one of the mistakes that we're making in dating is that we're not learning any lessons. Like we're literally going on these dates. We have, whether it be a good experience or a bad experience, but we're not taking kind of a mental note in the sense of, okay, what could I do better? What could be adjusted? maybe where did I go wrong? Yes, be willing to look at yourself in the mirror and hold yourself accountable for something that you could have improved or handled differently. Doesn't mean beat yourself up. Please do not beat yourself up, because we all make mistakes. We're going to get some things right. We're going to get some things wrong. But you want to learn in a way that strengthens you and makes you a better person. Because again, you can use this dating process as a way to sharpen your skills, so to speak, as a way to really hone your skills so that when you get to the right one, you're going to be even more on point. And when you take that approach, you're able to enjoy the process more. You're able to go with the flow more, not in a I don't know where I'm headed, but in a way of I can accept the ups and downs. I can accept that sometimes it's going to go the way I want and sometimes it won't. But one way or another, I'm going to learn from this. And by learning, I'm going to become better for this. And I'm going to implement these things that I've learned into my new experiences. I'm going to learn how to better communicate. I'm going to learn how to get more in tune with someone. I'm going to learn how to better address the red flags. I'm going to become more comfortable in expressing myself. Do you see where I'm going with this? These are things that people tend to not learn no matter how many times it's failed them in their experiences, because they're too busy focused on the failure or the disappointment and not on the lesson to be learned. So continue to self-reflect in a way that you can make yourself better. Be open to correction, be open to self-improvement. And when you do that, you will set yourself up for greater success. And then the last tip, number 7 on dating tips from a dating coach, the best dating tips from a dating coach, is focus on connection. Listen, if you've heard or watched any of my previous videos or been to my shows or read any of my books, you know I am huge on connection. Now, I won't get too deep into breaking down connection today, but I will say that look at connection as your spirit recognizing its match. It is a deep spiritual experience that many have experienced in their life. Some of you may not have yet, but I'm confident in saying you more than likely will at some point. It is like no other. It separates this individual from all the other people you dealt with. And it's more than just having chemistry. It's more than just feeling like you're compatible. It's more than just everything looks good on the surface. It goes so much deeper than that. And that connection is what we need to strengthen and hold our relationships together. Many relationships are failing because they do not have connection. People are getting caught up on the initial hype, and again, how that person's resume looks, and also the fantasy they're projecting or what they want to believe this relationship can be or who this person can be, but not the reality and who this person is and what this relationship is showing you right now. But connection is something that goes so much deeper because we cannot create a connection, nor can we destroy it. It's either there or it's not. And when you experience it, again, it hits you like nothing else has ever hit you. So focus on finding the person you have a connection with, because with that individual, everything else can work out. Everything else can be worked through. All right? Because you guys see each other in a way that others don't. You guys will be able to get on the same page better than you can with other individuals. And so again, I know this topic needs a lot more explanation, but I'm just going to plant this seed in you if you haven't heard about it yet. And for those of you who have, you know what I'm talking about. Let's embrace it, because connection is the key. Let's get into 5 ways to increase your self-worth. Now, first and foremost, understand that it is very important for us to have a good level of self-worth. When we have a low self-worth, we will find ourselves in more toxic situations, entertaining people and things that don't belong in our life. We will find ourselves in greater levels of depression, unhealthiness. So much can go wrong because we lack self-worth. And I don't want that to happen to any of you, man or woman. So I want to give you some guidance on how you can start improving in this area right away, because doing so is so essential to living a higher quality of life. All right. And also, it's God didn't put you on this earth to have low self-worth. You are worthy. You have great value. You are someone special, all right? And you deserve wonderful and amazing things. And I want you to embrace that reality. So here are some steps. Number one, stop taking things personally. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but taking things personally is one of the greatest deteriorators of self-worth. Because when we take things personally, we internalize the things that people say and do to us, or even just what we come across, and we personalize it rather than realizing it's not always about us. And when we learned how to not to take things so personally, how to not be so offended by everything someone says, you will find yourself being able to stay on a more positive path. How to keep your mind in a healthier place, all right? So it's important to guard yourself in that way. And again, not guard yourself as in have walls up. Just guard yourself in the sense that I'm not going to let this negative energy penetrate my spirit, penetrate my mind, because then it can wreak havoc within our body, in our emotional state, and cause all kinds of problems, as well as mentioned, decreasing our self-worth. So even the people who have done things to you in the past, it's a symptom of hurt people hurting people. They did it because they're caught up in their own emotions. It's not really about you, all right, or how they're even viewing you in that moment. It's about the issues within them. So do not internalize it. Do not take things personally. Learn how to shake it off. Again, this will take some time to master, so practice it, all right? Practice choosing not to be offended. You can make that choice. I hear things being said about all kinds of, about men, about black men, or about whatever. I don't get offended. You know what? That's y'all problem. It ain't mine. I'm not letting that put me in a negative place. That's how I want you to approach it. Like, you know what? Let those people talk all the negativity they want. It has nothing to do with you. Even when they want to attack you, they're attacking you because they have issues. Plain and simple. All right. So do not internalize. Do not internalize. Now, number two, start setting some goals in your life. All right. It is hard to have great self-worth when we don't feel like we're doing anything with our lives, when we don't feel like we've accomplished anything. However, being productive, all right, reaching goals, accomplishing things makes us feel better. Period. That's just the way it works. And so it will be very good and healthy for you to start setting some goals. Now, they can be some long-term ones, some short-term ones. I think you should have a mixture of all, because you want to make sure you give yourself small goals to easily accomplish, all right, but can create momentum, a momentum of progress and productivity. Then you want to have the kind of those mid-level goals. And then you want to have the bigger ones, all right? And some of them might be, all right, you got some weekly goals, maybe some daily goals. You got some goals for the next 6 months, the goals for the year. And you don't have to look too far ahead. I don't really believe in like saying, okay, well, I got to be here in 5 years, because so many twists and turns can happen in our lives. But at the very least, I can shoot for things this year. At the very least, I can focus on what I need to accomplish this week. And again, when you start to feel more productive, when you're hitting your goals, it's going to make you feel better about yourself, all right? As well as keep you in a more positive mindset, keep you productive so that you are growing as an individual. And in that growth, you're going to gain even more self-worth as well. So it just works very well when you set goals in your life. So start identifying some things and let's make that happen. Number three, learning how to be alone and happy. Now, let me be very clear here. I don't mean you need to be alone forever. I don't mean you need to be such a loner that you don't want anyone around you. I mean that you need to get to a place where you don't need other people in order to generate happiness in your life, all right? That you, even when you are alone, can still create and be happy, can still be positive, that you are not at the mercy of having company. You're not at the mercy of having to be in a relationship, because those who are afraid to be alone start to entertain and tolerate individuals who don't belong in their life. They start to not have a high level of self-worth because they desperately want to attach themselves to anyone who can provide them with companionship. And this is going to set you on a path of more brokenness and damage. So again, the goal isn't to be alone forever. The goal isn't to not want anybody around you ever. The goal is simply finding peace and happiness when you are by yourself. You may still desire a partner in a relationship. You may still have even more fun when you can be around people, because some of us are just more social than others. That's perfectly fine. But you have to have mastered your aloneness, your solitude, in a way that it doesn't drive you to a negative place and into dealing with the wrong people and in the wrong situations. That's the key. And when we can do that, we will increase our self-worth, and we will value not just the time we give to others, all right, and the time that we pour into ourselves as well. So it's important, very important, to learn how to be happy while you are alone. So next on this list, number 4, is start taking better care of yourself health-wise. So listen, I'm just going to run through it really fast, because at the end of the day, when we feel better, all right, and when I say feel better, when we start to take better care of ourselves and we start to feel better from a physical sense, our mind starts to be more positive. We start to be more happy. We start to be more productive. When you're not taking care of yourself, you start to be more fatigued, more stressed out. You may get more anxiety. So much can go wrong because we are not giving our body what it needs, all right? And we're running it ragged. We're letting life run us into the ground. You've got to take control of that and take steps towards greater health. You need more sleep, all right? You got to get some rest. Too many of you are operating on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and that's not enough for you. You need time to relax and recharge. You need more hydration, drinking more water, all right? The body is consumed or is made up of mostly water. It's essential to our bodies. And when you start to drink enough and more water, and quality water as well, all right, because there is something to that, then that's going to play very well in your mood, in your energy, in your focus, and so on. You got to start to eat better. All right, now I know we're not going to all choose the same things. I'm a plant-based eater. I highly believe in it. I think you should consider it, but I know everyone's not going to go that route. Even if you don't want to become plant-based, just start making better choices with the food you eat. Start limiting the processed food. Start limiting the sugar. Start limiting the dairy. Start limiting the things that don't agree with your body. And so you can go get a food allergy test. You know what I'm saying? You can go get a blood type test. See what foods now agree with your blood type. What foods will your body react to negatively, so that you can start creating a diet. And when I say diet, more of a lifestyle of eating that's going to be more beneficial to you, all right? So be mindful of that. And of course, exercise as well. Listen, we're not going to all be buff and lifting weights in the gym, but get some kind of activity in your daily routine, or at least a few days out of the week. You want to get the blood flowing. You want to get things going, because again, when we start to feel good internally, all right, we start to feel good about who we are emotionally and mentally. We start to have a greater level of self-worth because we like what we see in the mirror, because we have a more positive outlook, because our minds are not being contaminated by the negative things that we have been putting in our body previous to this video, because I'm going to believe that you're going to make the changes and you're going to start to see the positive results. So start taking better care of yourself if you want to increase your self-worth. And last but not least, number 5 is you need to heal from your past. All right. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have the book Love After Heartbreak, which literally gives you the steps to healing. It is my Stephan Speaks healing method that I've given to thousands of clients in the past, and it has worked for them. I'm not just saying that, that's for real. Those who have done the steps have seen the results, have seen the progress, have completely changed their lives in a positive manner. So this book lays it out for you, and a lot of other things you need to start to understand. Get your copy, click the link below in the description or in the comments section, also available on Amazon. But anyways, to get back to this healing thing, a lot of people lack self-worth because they're still holding on to the damage from their past. It goes into the internalizing of what people have done to us and how we've dwelled in it, how maybe you swept it under the rug and you thought you were fine, but you're not, all right? And how we're holding on to these negative experiences that have now shaped the way that we view ourselves. All right. And we have to let go. We have to process these emotions. We have to release this negative energy from our spirit so that now we can get back to a healthier place. You can't be trying to pile a bunch of good things like, okay, well, I'm going to now say affirmations and I'm going to do these positive things that I mentioned earlier in the video, which is great. You should, but you can't overlook the healing part because all you're doing is piling good stuff on a messy foundation. You gotta get rid of the garbage, so to speak. All right, you gotta flesh that out, and when you do, you're gonna be able to absorb the positive things even more, and you're gonna be able to feel better about yourself, and you're gonna have a renewed sense of self and a renewed sense of love and life and just all that awaits you in this world. So be sure to heal. And I feel the need to say this right now. For some of you, your brokenness stems from anger or resentment you have towards God. Some of you feel like God lets you down, all right? And in the book, it explains how God may be someone you have to address in order to heal. But I want you to know that God loves you. God has always been there for you, but sometimes we don't understand the method to the madness. We don't understand the process we are being taken through, but if we lean on God and we trust Him, then know you will get what is good for you. Your life will become better than you could have ever expected. And despite all that you've been through, you are still blessed. You still have so much to live for and so much to look forward to. And my spirit just felt the need to share that with you. But again, it just boils down to you need to heal. And when you heal, you will be able to have a greater level of self-worth. So again, I hope and pray this video was helpful to you. If you are struggling with self-worth, again, get the book. Start working on these things. I truly believe you're going to see great results if you put these things into action. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Finding that person you can spend your life with is an amazing and special experience. But I know for so many people how difficult and frustrating it can be to try to identify who is for you and who is not, to ensure that you end up with